I'm sure this center is going to contribute to the Prime Minister's vision to make India a content hub of the world. How do you see this, progress happening in the next 5 years?
See, the thing is, it's very rare that a prime minister of any country actually understands that there are growing sectors, and how our prime minister defined AVGC 2 years ago to make people understand that this is a sector to invest into and sector to make a career into. At the same time, the high point came in when Prime Minister from the Red Fort, the annual Independence Day speech, spoke about why animation and gaming is important, why design in India is important, why create in India is important, and how create in India for the world is going to actually make India successful in the form of latest forms of storytelling. And the importance of animation was again explained by him in Mann Ki Baat just about a week ago. And that actually gives a lot of energy to all the stakeholders of AVGC XR in India. And even as we look at multiple countries, they say that the way India is talking about a national policy and the state policies for AVGC XR, it is the place to go to. Moreover, the government has taken right steps by creating incentive for people to outsource work to India in animation and visual effects apart from live action. At the same time, the co-production treaties signed with 16 countries is now backed with a co-production fund. So in the next 5 years, as you tell me, it's a restructuring of the complete offering that India has. India was always known as an outsourcing hub. So we were talking about services business in India. So we are not only going to be upscaling the services business, but we are going to be actually be considered, you know, across the value chain. We were only looking, people were only looking at us as, the services outsourcing for production. Now it's services outsourcing for pre-production and design as well. So you have kind of grown on the left side, as I say, which is a uh, uh, thing which is about creating the new concept or visualization or creating concept art and everything, storyboarding to character design to everything. That's a pre-production. At the same time, people are considering India as a post-production partner as well. So you are playing a role in services across ideation to script to screen. And that's a very unique thing, from only from production for last 25 years to now be considered across. And so that's about the services part. But in the next 5 years, the focus is going to be on creating Indian IPs and taking them global. So that's something which is going to be very, very critical to develop a, a very niche skill in India. You require a very different thinking process when you create IP, and it's a very responsible IP, whether you are creating it in animation, gaming, visual effects, comics, or XR. Specifically in gaming, because as you know, there is a very thin line between the game of skill and game of chance. And
Yes.
the game of chance is not allowed in India. The baiting is not allowed. So, how do you really continue to create IP, which is going to be making sure that it is responsible gaming? It's taking care of consumer protection. It's taking care of every uh, kind of a rule that has been set up. Although right now the regulation has not come into full force, but eventually we are going to see the regulation is going to happen into the gaming sector.
Yes.
So it's a preparation in terms of skills at every level. So if you look at the pyramid, when you look at the IP part of it, it will be the top of the pyramid skills. The middle of the pyramid will always be a good services sector, and the bottom of pyramid will be people joining in to the ecosystem, which is actually getting them ready to do services within India and services for overseas. And that's how they look at an upward mobility, whether you continue to go from services to IP, or you continue to go from doing television OTT to feature films. So these are two upward mobility kind of concepts, and more so, India is now making about 148 different museums sponsored by the government of India and the private sector. And the immersive experiences, 3D mapping, and a lot of other things are coming up as a part of the career making for the kids. At the same time, the whole space that started with architectural design into building information and modeling, and then converting it into a digital twin. Now it is coming into urban planning, the city planning, the industrial planning, to everything, and including all the big institutions, the factories, and also the cities are getting a digital twin done uh, of itself. That's going to be another big source under AVGC XR for people to actually make career into. So, in terms of the National Center of Excellence, it's going to be, fueling the whole concept of uh, spreading message in terms of all these new avenues where people can make their careers into. At the same time, all the state governments are also creating center of excellence. So it's going to be a hub and spoke model. The National Center of Excellence is going to be the major hub, and then there will be specialized center of excellences across every state, where some people will, identify gaming as their specialization area. Some people will look at, visual effects as their area specialization. Some states are concentrating on comic books, and the comic book artists are very rare, and they are ample of them into Bengal and Rajasthan and Kerala. So those states probably might look at creating the center of excellence for comics. And mind you, that's the cheapest form of copywriting your content and design. So that's going to be another big swing that India is going to create in terms of the comic art, and then getting them to the digital format through motion comics and motion graphics, so that you have a storytelling happening in all these areas. And then to also encourage educational institutions across India to allow them to create creative arts and sciences departments together and create these programs. And National Center of Excellence will work as creating a guideline for all these programs. So much so it will work with the AICT and the UGC as well to define new nomenclatures. Like right now, people do BSc, BA, or Bachelor of Design, or Bachelor of Visual Arts, but we are going to introduce something called as Bachelor of Creative Arts and Sciences, Bachelor of Graphic Arts, Bachelor of Immersive Entertainment, or Bachelor of Immersive Arts and Sciences. Then Bachelor of, you know, uh, the digital twins, or any of these very specific things that are going to come through the BIM offering. And it's also going to encourage the government officials from different states and center to look at this space to be integrated with their workflows, so that the work can actually become easier. In terms of defense, I can tell you that the gaming plays a very major role, and digital twins plays a very major role, because they can plan things. They exactly know where the things are when you're planning some activities, whether it's into the open terrain or into the cities. For things, the cyber security issues are also going to be connected, and we will be knowing the natural calamities that are happening in terms of the floods, or any of the congestion because of the traffic. or if you
Sure.
have events and concerts, the simulation can be done on the digital twins. And that's where we are going to find it very, very interesting. The the way these technologies, the creative arts and sciences, can add value to manufacturing, education, governance, and also the control of the cities, the control of traffic, and various measures that can be simulated, and even the smoke simulation, all in case of fire and everything. So I think overall, it's going to be a preparation for us to get into the future in the next 5 years, and get our skills ready to serve the world. As the Prime Minister said, create in India for the world, design in India for the world. So this is something which is very interesting. Nobody in the past has given the kind of importance the creativity and the design can have, which can actually not only make services offerings but also make an IP offering and add to the technology. So the another wing that is important is the media and entertainment technology. The way people are creating these technology and tools through AI or through any other source. So that is also going to be one of the offerings of National Center of Excellence. And the incubation is going to be concentrating on each aspect of it. So it's going to be a first point contact for anything and everything that you do into this space. So it's a very encouraging thing that India is creating such a center, and it's going to look at the complete media and entertainment space eventually, because AVGC XR is going to touch every form of storytelling.